One morning, you wake up and everything feels fine. You make your coffee, you sit in your chair, and nothing feels wrong at all. But that is exactly when aging is working against you the hardest. Not in the moments of pain, but in the long, quiet stretches where you feel nothing unusual at all. The body does not sound an alarm. It simply starts moving in a direction you didn't choose, slowly, invisibly, until one day someone you love looks at you with a worry in their eyes they didn't have last year. My name is Danny. I am 81 years old. I've watched a lot of people age. People I grew up with, people I worked beside, people I loved. And after all these years, I can tell you honestly that I have watched two kinds of people move through their 60s and 70s. One kind stays sharp, walks steady, laughs easy, and keeps their life full and their dignity intact well into their 80s. The other kind shrinks quietly, not all at once, slowly, like a candle burning down in a room with the curtains closed. Most people assume the difference is genes or luck or money, but from where I'm standing, most of that difference does not begin with your doctors or your diagnoses. It begins with a handful of small, silent habits most people never even notice they've lost. Today, I am going to share 7 silent signs that your body may be aging faster than it should. Signs that most people miss completely because they look so ordinary. These are not dramatic symptoms. They don't send you to the emergency room. That's what makes them so dangerous. People who are aging slowly and well, what some researchers call superagers, are not doing heroic things. They are simply protecting small, ordinary routines that most of us let slip away without realizing what we've lost. Here's the thing about aging too fast. It never announces itself. It's not like a broken bone where you know the moment it happens. It's more like a slow leak in a tire. You keep driving. The car still moves. But little by little, the pressure drops. And one day you find yourself struggling to do something you used to do without thinking. And by the time you notice, the leak has been going on for years. Each of these 7 signs is one of those quiet leaks. And every single one of them can be slowed down if you know what to look for. Before we get into the first sign, if your independence matters to you, if you want to stay in your own home, make your own choices, and hold on to the life you've built, please tap the like button on this video. Because the more people who see this, the more older adults might catch these signs before it's too late. People who are aging too fast often stop being curious about small things. I did this myself. Somewhere around my late 60s, I stopped asking questions. Not big questions. I mean small ones. What's that bird I keep hearing? Why does this intersection flood every time it rains? I stopped wondering. I had my routines, I had my opinions, and I was comfortable. My daughter Elena noticed it before I did. She said, "Dad, you used to ask me about everything. Now you just nod." I thought she was imagining things. She wasn't. Research on the aging brain now tells us that curiosity keeps neural pathways active, literally protecting the brain from early cognitive decline. But emotionally, curiosity does something even deeper than that. It tells the brain that the world still has something worth paying attention to. And a brain that believes that stays younger far longer than one that has already decided it knows enough. Every small question you ask, every time you wonder about something and follow it just a little, is either protecting your mind or quietly letting it go still. Stillness in water grows algae. Stillness in the mind does something similar. People aging too fast often begin to walk more slowly, and they don't notice. This one sounds obvious, but the change doesn't happen overnight. It sneaks up on you. My friend Walter, a man who used to take long walks every Sunday, started taking shorter routes in his mid-70s. Then he started stopping to rest on benches he used to walk right past. He told himself it was because he was tired that day, then the next day, then every day. His neighbor Margaret finally said something. Walter, you used to walk past my house at a good clip. Now I watch you from my window and I worry. Studies measuring walking speed in older adults have found it is one of the most reliable predictors of how quickly the body is aging overall. Not just the legs, the heart, the brain, the balance system, the lungs, all of it. Slow walking is the body waving a small, quiet flag. But emotionally, what it really signals is withdrawal. When we slow down physically, we begin to withdraw from the world without meaning to. Start paying attention to your pace, not to race anyone, just to notice. A short walk, done with intention and real effort, even 15 minutes, is not just exercise. It is a quiet act of resistance against the part of aging that wants to make you invisible. People aging too fast often stop eating real meals and replace them with something easy and alone. I am guilty of this. After my wife passed, I started eating crackers and cold soup and whatever required no effort and no dishes. There was something almost shameful about cooking a full meal for one person in a kitchen built for two. My doctor noticed my weight had dropped at a routine visit. He didn't lecture me. He just said, "Danny, are you eating?" And the way he asked it, gently with his head tilted, I knew he already suspected the answer. Nutrition research is very clear that older adults who eat poorly are not just losing vitamins. They are losing muscle mass, bone density, immune function, and cognitive sharpness at a rate dramatically faster than people who eat real food regularly. But the deeper truth is this: eating alone, eating without care, eating without flavor is one of the first signs that a person has started to grieve their own life while they are still living it. Cook something simple. Sit at a table. Use a real plate. It sounds small, but every meal eaten with intention is a quiet declaration that your life is still worth the effort of living it well. If you're still watching, please subscribe to this channel, because the next signs we're going to talk about may help you avoid something most people never see coming. The kind of slow decline that robs you of your independence before you ever realize it's happening. People aging too fast often stop reaching out first and begin waiting to be contacted. I noticed this in myself and in almost every man I know my age. We stop initiating. We stop calling. We tell ourselves we don't want to be a burden. We wait for someone to check on us. And when they don't, we feel forgotten and we shrink a little more. My old colleague George went 3 weeks without speaking to another person outside of store clerks. He told me this almost like it was nothing, but I could hear the loneliness in his voice even when he was trying to joke about it. Loneliness at this age is not just an emotional discomfort. Research now links chronic social isolation in older adults to a higher risk of dementia, heart disease, and death. The numbers comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. The brain needs human connection to stay healthy, but the heart needs it to stay willing to keep going. Reach out to one person this week, not because you need something, just because you thought of them. That small act of connection is either keeping a door open or letting it quietly close. Once it closes, it gets heavier every day. People aging too fast often lose their sense of humor without realizing it. Laughter is one of those things you don't notice leaving until it's been gone a long time. I remember sitting with a group of old friends years ago and laughing until my sides hurt. And then I thought, when did I last do that? I couldn't remember. I had gotten serious. Life had gotten heavy. I was carrying things I hadn't put down. My grandson once said to me, "Grandpa, you don't laugh the same way anymore." And he was 8 years old. Children notice what adults pretend not to. Science tells us laughter reduces cortisol, the stress hormone, and triggers the release of chemicals that lower inflammation and protect the immune system. Over time, people who laugh regularly show slower rates of physical aging in measurable ways. But what laughter really does that no study can quite measure is this. It reminds you that life still has lightness in it. and a person who has forgotten that ages faster in ways that no blood test can show. Find something that makes you laugh this week. Not a polite smile. Real, embarrassing, loud laughter. Protect that. It is doing more for you than you know. People aging too fast often stop sleeping and accept poor sleep as normal. This was the hardest one for me to admit. For years, I woke up at 3 a.m, lay in the dark, and told myself that was just what getting old felt like. I was exhausted by afternoon, irritable by evening, and I blamed my age. I mentioned it once to my doctor almost as an aside, and she stopped me and said, "Danny, you've been telling me this for 4 years and we've never properly addressed it." 4 years. I had accepted damage as a condition. Sleep research now makes this very clear. Chronic poor sleep in older adults accelerates memory loss, weakens the immune system, raises blood pressure, and promotes the kind of inflammation that speeds up almost every form of physical aging. But the emotional cost is just as real. Poor sleep makes the world feel heavier, smaller, and less worth showing up for. It is very hard to feel hope when you are quietly exhausted all the time. Talk to your doctor about your sleep. Not someday, at your next visit. Poor sleep is not a character flaw, and it is not an inevitable part of aging. It is a problem with solutions. Every night of real rest is either rebuilding you, or every night of lost sleep is slowly taking something you will not easily get back. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because the next video we're preparing may help you avoid one of the most common causes of sudden decline in people over 70. Something most people never connect to their daily habits until it's already cost them their independence. People aging too fast often stop having something to look forward to. This is the quietest sign of all, and I believe it is the most dangerous. I have watched strong people who survived hard lives, begin to fade not because their bodies failed them first, but because they stopped having a reason to get up with intention in the morning. Not a reason to survive, a reason to anticipate. My friend Eleanor used to tend her garden every spring with a kind of joy that was almost childlike. Then her knees got bad, and she stopped gardening, and she never found anything to replace it. Within 2 years, her doctor was talking about assisted living. She wasn't sick, she was empty. Researchers who study longevity, people who live long and live well, find that having a sense of purpose and something to look forward to is one of the strongest predictors of healthy aging across every culture they've studied. The body, it turns out, takes its cues from the mind. When the mind expects something worth waiting for, the body tends to cooperate. When the mind goes quiet and expectant of nothing, the body follows. Find something small to look forward to this week. It does not need to be grand. A phone call, a trip to a place you love, a seed planted in a pot on a windowsill. Purpose does not have to be large to be real, and without it, even a healthy body begins to wonder why it should bother staying strong. So here they are, 7 silent signs that your body may be aging faster than it should. Losing curiosity, walking slower without noticing, replacing real meals with ease and emptiness, waiting to be contacted instead of reaching out, losing your laughter, accepting poor sleep as normal, and letting go of things to look forward to. None of these are dramatic. None of them will send you to the hospital on their own. That is exactly why most people underestimate them, and why they do so much quiet damage over so many quiet years. The people I have watched age well didn't have easier lives. They just kept protecting small things that most people let go of without meaning to. And if you start paying attention to these 7 signs today, you are already doing something most people around you are not. I'm Danny, and I'll see you in the next video.